If I told you to picture yourself in a museum or at an art exhibition, what would you think of? Something you might not think of would be pulling your phone from out of your pocket and unlocking it to scroll on TikTok or on Instagram Reels. But what if I told you that was exactly what one artist had decided to display here, at the Institute of Contemporary Arts in London?
Elliott Roy is a French-Haitian artist from Paris. He usually works as a sculptor or painter. His last show in London, at Bobo's Cafe, was no different. In that exhibition, he showed oil paintings displaying scenes of ordinary life with bright, vivid colours, but also with large gaps in the middle, showing empty pieces of canvas. This showed Roy's rejection of the maximalism of capitalism. Instead, he embraced what he called the virtue of uncertainty. Surely then, Roy's choice of showing TikToks at the ICA's exhibition is a total contradiction. His videos on social media are loud, vibrant. They usually show him running, telling a story, whilst dance music plays in the background. Take a look for yourself.
Dear Paul McCartney, what do you think about technique? I was looking at this video the other day. Someone was speaking about your songs, about how you wrote it, and they were dissecting your music. And I thought, Paul would have hated that. I know how Paul wrote this song. He just thought, oh, Gideon's Bible would be a nice rhyme with, only to find its rival, feeling intuition. And what about La Marseillaise? Written in a single night after a glass of wine, in a moment of inspiration. 3 centuries later, we still sing it when we play football. So, what really makes an artist? The discipline of technique or the magic of intuition? Would love to hear your take. Sincerely, Ray.
So how could Roy possibly go from those paintings to this?
All I know is my process is artistic because I'm an artist. That's honestly, it's as simple as that. When you're an artist, you think in a complicated way. Basically, you try and you think things differently a little bit. I think it's the research that is artistic. Maybe the TikToks are not artistic. I don't know, but I know my research is the same process as a writer or a painter is being interested in finding answers.
But more than just being a continuation of his previous work, how could these TikToks even be considered art? I mean, surely his paintings took way more effort than these videos. How could Roy decide to display these instead of his paintings? How could the ICA decide to display something that debatedly isn't even art?
I choose to show videos instead of paintings. Actually, I didn't choose. I submitted, there was an open call, and I submitted both paintings and videos. At that time, I never imagined I would show these videos. I think I did it maybe for fun. Like, I can submit 2 works. There's room for this one. You know, I just slip this one in, and the curators that decided they were interested in the painting, but in the videos. So they made the choice. You know.
So why do you think they were more interested in that as opposed to the paintings?
There is so much paintings, man. You know. There is and there has been so much paintings that it's very hard to surprise with painting, you know. I love painting, but I don't have the ambition to surprise all the time because I hope there's so many good paintings already, you know.
By showing TikToks in their gallery, the ICA has increased the value of the videos. Because they're in a space where people think there will be high quality art, viewers at the exhibition automatically assume the TikToks must be good, or at least worth their attention.
It's basic art knowledge that the context makes the piece of art. You know, you had artists like Marcel Duchamp, of course, that said, maybe it's just about where art is showed, otherwise it's not art. Some people went to galleries and just like put one of their object on the ground, just like a wood stick, and be like, look, people look at this object now because it's art. So if you're in a museum, you show videos, people are gonna look at it like, it must be something very smart. It must be, and they look at it, they wait to make sense of it, you know, because it's meant to, because it's here, you know.
Not only should we consider Roy's TikToks to be a form of art, we should recognise their importance as one. More than any sculpture or painting in the world today, Roy's works have the potential to be viewed for free by millions simultaneously all across the world in their rawest form. That means that Roy's TikToks are a more accessible form of art than literally any exhibition in the world today.
Do you feel like the people that are watching your TikToks online are different from the people who are seeing your paintings?
The people that watch my paintings are, introduced to art already. You need to be very introduced to art to look at art on Instagram, you know. The people that watch my videos you need nothing. You need just time to waste.
It might at first seem contradictory to praise Roy's art for being accessible when it is being displayed here at a paid exhibition in the prestigious London Gallery. But introducing new forms and new mediums of art into old established places is a great way to convince people of their value. Roy's decision to display TikToks in his exhibition when he's perfectly capable of painting shows a new way of making art accessible in the digital age.
Real art is an art that exists for real. I always give the example of street art. In my case, when I grew up, there was a little tag of a cat from a street artist called Monsieur Chat. It's a very cute cat with a wide smile like Alice in Wonderland. And it was up on the roof. So you grow up and every day you look up and you see this cat smiling, bright orange cat. And it triggers your imaginations all the time. So this is real, you know, it's not bullshit. There's no like things you cannot access. This has real effect on people.
And so in what way are your TikToks real?
It's called Instagram Reels, isn't it? It's real.
Sadly, this focus on democracy in art might not be in line with all of the ICA's behaviour. At the preview for the New Contemporaries exhibition yesterday, protesters assembled outside the ICA. They called for it to drop the exhibition's sponsor, Bloomberg Philanthropies. This is because Bloomberg runs a programme which trains mayors and city officials who hold positions in over 40 West Bank settlements. These were found illegal by the International Court of Justice last July. The ICA has seemingly been vocal with their support for Palestine. For example, they hosted the Palestine Film Festival last November and the year before. Yet, they haven't shied away from sponsorships from companies that many say are complicit in Israel's war crimes. One source told me that the ICA had debated whether or not to accept the Bloomberg sponsorship on moral grounds, but had ultimately accepted it. They also criticised the ICA banking with Barclays and being a client of Mishon de Reya, a law firm they say has close ties to the Israeli state.
I was at the opening yesterday and I stumbled into a protest. Did you see the protest?
That happened during the opening. I did see it, yeah.
Do you know what they were protesting?
They were protesting about, I believe, the fact that the institution organizing the exhibition was founded partly by, not partly actually, mainly founded by the Bloomberg, which I hear are funding basically these activities in Gaza. It's really a tricky subject because I think you shouldn't. Tu sais, on dit ne cracher dans l'eau dans laquelle tu as bu quand tu avais soif. People are
shit where you sleep. Yeah.
Yeah.
And how do you feel about the partnership of Bloomberg with ICA?
I see where the problem is, but on the other hand, do we take our works off this building? Because if you want to show your help or your implication, you should remove your work, you know? Yeah. I think, which is not what the artist did. And I wasn't going to take my work off, at least not at this stage of my career, you know? I still have power. They could say something. I suppose they should. They should do something, but in due time. You know, it's not good to improvise something all of a sudden. They're doing their show, okay. Now you need to not act in under pressure or something. You need to take your time to think your choices. Maybe they should do something, but think about how they do it, how they express themselves.
So it's a mixed bag with the ICA. On the one hand, they're platforming artists who are using social media in a revolutionary new way to accessibilize art and make it more democratic. On the other hand, this exhibition's partnership and sponsorship with Bloomberg has sparked genuine and justified concern over Bloomberg's actions in Gaza, which are arguably anything but democratic. As a charity, the ICA is expected to stay politically neutral. Yet, critics argue this is following the long lineage of arts institutions in the UK, and specifically nationally funded arts institutions in the UK, are becoming complicit in their government's beliefs and actions through silence. This is especially hypocritical when you consider that the ICA has been very vocal on other issues, such as disability accessibility or climate change. Perhaps it's time for the ICA and arts institutions in the UK in general to make their beliefs clear, no matter what they are.